What I'm heartened by, and this actually goes to what I was saying right at the beginning, that our plans are now starting to work and deliver the change that people want to see. We've seen the waiting list fall for 4 months in a row now, Nick.
Okay.
Actually, right, so, no, by all means, we've got lots to do. I'm not for any 1 second saying that we don't. We have a lot to do. But the waiting lists have now fallen for 4 months in a row.
Well, imagine the shock for the Prime Minister when someone tells him a change in the system for publishing waiting list data means it stopped including some cases, primarily from paediatric community services, which casts doubt on whether the waiting list actually fell in February at all. Don't just take my word for this. Take a look at this statistical notice from NHS England. Analysis indicates that about 36,000 pathways, that's cases where someone is awaiting treatment, have been excluded from the February figures. And guess what? It just so happens the figure for the waiting list at the end of February fell by, you guessed it, just over 36,000. So it's possible that if the waiting list had been counted in the same way as it was before, it would have been slightly higher than it was in January. So when the Prime Minister says this,
we've seen the waiting list fall for 4 months in a row now.
It appears to be just more smoke and mirrors. In fact, NHS England has conceded in a press release that with this change considered, the waiting list in February remains stable compared to the month before. And it just gets worse for the Prime Minister. New NHS England data has shown that even if, as the government says, there was a slight fall, the total waiting list for procedures and appointments was still a staggering 7.54 million in February, which means waiting lists are still higher than they were when Rishi Sunak promised to bring them down in January 2023. So it's just another epic fail for the Prime Minister.